Hey guys, it's Rose here. Happy New Year, and starting off my new year with a little wrap-up of all the books that I read in December. This is going to be a two-part video. I was going to do my wrap-up and my January TBRs in one go, but that is a lot of books, so I thought I would split it into two shorter videos. I will put the link to the January TBR down there as soon as it is up, so that you can see that as well if you want to. So I'm going to start with two books that I'd actually already begun reading that I was just finishing off in December and that I did manage to finish off. First of those was this one. This is The Art of Learning. It is by Josh Watkin. It's somewhere in between a memoir and a self-help book covering Josh's life as a child chess prodigy and then his adult life going into push hands, which is a martial art, and becoming again a champion at that, because apparently he's just really, really good at everything. It covers a lot of the different ways that he tries to help himself learn new things, train new things. It's a really, really interesting look into his mind, also into the worlds of competitive chess and martial arts. Kind of cool. And it's something that can be applied, though sometimes I think, yeah, you make that sound too easy. It was a really interesting read. Definitely one to add to the biographies and autobiographies shelf. Next up, the second one that I finished, John Cleese, So Anyway. And it's gold writing, so it's hard to see, but it does say John Cleese. John Cleese, So Anyway. This is another biography. This is his autobiography. I got this as a signed copy, and I actually did a whole video about this book and about what I think of giving signed books for Christmas gifts and other gifts, and I will put the link to that below as well, and that'll give you a little more on this one. Next, in no particular order for the rest of these, I, Jedi. This is by Michael Stackpole. It is one of many, 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 many books that based off the Star Wars universe. This is the first one that I've read. I picked up a bunch of them at a library sale, and I thought it'd be kind of fun, because I do love the Star Wars franchise, to have a little look at some of the Star Wars books. I was quite surprised with this. I was pleasantly surprised with it. It took a little while to get into, but as soon as I did, like as soon as I got over that first little hump, couldn't wait to finish it. It follows the story of Kieran Halcyon, or Khan, he has a couple of names, as he, as a fighter pilot, goes to Jedi training school, essentially, with Luke Skywalker in order to try and save his wife. And it's got a lot of the very standard Jedi Star Wars sci-fi elements, aliens and creatures and fighting and flying and intrigue and lightsabers and all that kind of stuff. So it was really, really fun. I would recommend it to anyone who's a fan of Star Wars, though I have read some comments on Goodreads and online that it's sort of a rip-off, some people are saying, I hate that phrase, of another Star Wars book. So maybe if you're really, really into the Star Wars books, you might not be as big a fan, but I really enjoyed it. Maybe it's because of the first one I read. Next up, we have a comic book, because you know I like to include these. This is my pick from the library in December. It is Justice League Dark. It's a new 52, and it is volume 1 of the trades. I picked this up because of the Constantine TV series. I wanted to do a little bit more reading about Constantine and the members of Justice League Dark that we may be seeing in the show. Wasn't disappointed. If you're into comic books, I don't know. Next up, we have one of my historical fictions for the month. We know how much I love historical fiction. This is Cynthia Harrod's Eagles, The Phoenix. I absolutely love her books. I spoke a little bit about them in my library haul. I'll put the link to that below as well. And they just follow the fortunes of one family, the Moreland dynasty, over 35 books and many generations, and I really enjoy them. And this is the most recent. I do love the whole series. Nothing much more to say about that one. Next is one I picked up. This is a reread. This is Sophie Kinsella's Shopaholic and Sister. I have a little bit of a thing for Sophie Kinsella and chick lit and books that aren't always that highbrow, and I love the way that Sophie Kinsella writes. This is part of the Shopaholic series, obviously, and it covers Becky and her newfound long-lost half-sister and all the general slapsticky odd couple type stuff that comes out of that. Definitely very odd couple style book, but lots and lots of fun. Next, we have another Sophie Kinsella. This is Wedding Night. It's a newer book of hers. Like most Sophie Kinsella books, it's very light and fun, and it follows a girl who is kind of an idiot and very obsessed with being married and following the plan. So when that plan doesn't go through, runs away and marries someone who's nearly a complete stranger, and the guy's friend and the girl's sister have to get together to try to prevent them from having their wedding night so that the marriage can be annulled and they can all forget it ever happened. Very slapstick, very fun, very sweet, and a little bit extra in this one about not clinging on to nostalgia too much, which I kind of like it when there's a little bit of a deeper level to these and they're not just the very basic bubblegum rom-com stuff. So I think Kinsella's pretty good with that, and I really enjoyed it. Next up, we have Christmas Magic. I actually did a review of this, Christmas Magic by Kathy Kelly. I did a review of it for Christmas. I will put the link down there as well. So many links this week. And I'll leave you to peruse that. It's a collection of short stories that are very, very chick lit, very light and saccharine and sweet, almost too sweet at times, that I picked up for Christmas, and that never judge a book by its cover because it really didn't have anything to do with Christmas, and I was less than pleased with that. But what are you going to do? Next up, we have The Remarkable Courtship of General Tom Thumb. It's by Nicholas Rinaldi, and this is a book from 2014. It's one that's quite a recent one. It is another historical fiction, but it's focusing on the time of the Civil War in the U.S., and it was really fascinating because I didn't know a lot about that period of history, and it's told from the perspective of General Tom Thumb, who was a famous performing dwarf, and his wife and his wife's sister and another dwarf that also worked for the same sort of freak show style museum performance group. And it's got a very interesting perspective on it. It wasn't quite as much about the courtship as I wanted it to be. I wanted a little more of a romance in there, and I didn't get as much as I was hoping for, but it was still a really good book. Finally, last but not least, I don't have a book to hold up for this one because I have these on ebook format, and it is The Song of Ice and Fire by George R. Martin, aka the Game of Thrones books. And I've been reading one of these a month for the past couple months. This December I finished A Storm of Swords, which is the third book in the series, which means that I get to start A Feast for Crows. And the most exciting bit about this is now I'm basically caught up to the TV show, which is really, really exciting because I now get to read new things. I get to read things that I have no concept of what's happening, and that suddenly makes these so much more exciting, and I cannot wait. I did also read a few other comic books that I'm just sort of skimming through and doing that I didn't pick up specifically or read start to finish this month, so I didn't include them. I already started a couple of books for January. I will be doing the TBR in the next couple of days. And that gives me a total of 10 books for December, which I don't think is too bad. I think I could have done much worse, especially because it's a really busy time of year. So like I say, I will link to the TBR below when it goes up. And I hope you all had a wonderful December and you all read as many books as you could, as you wanted to. And I hope you all have a wonderful new year. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.